Okay, so we're live with our special edition class. Right now, we only got one holy brother in the house, so it's going to grow, and it's exciting because it's important. We need to do this. This is something that's needed right now, being that there were sirens going off very shortly, and we got to fill that energy like with some positive flow. And here we go. Let's do it. So this is an opportunity for us to sort of go ahead, no matter what, be live, be connected. And we began with being proactive. That was the original class in a whole different world, in a sense. Like that was before, we had a long time period of saying BC, before Corona. Now we're going to have before this crazy last 3 days that began on Simchas Torah, before war. Exactly. And this is intense. Like this is the real thing. We don't have to do intros because we've done that. We had some quality time together this recent Shabbat, and it was really special and needed. And Yom Tov as well. It was a special time, and I'm still appreciating all the gifts that I got during this time period. But at the same time, I'm realistic that we're being challenged in a big way right now. I've even got my top on. It says gratitude. Got to have an attitude of gratitude to do this. Yeah, that's what it's about. So, I was doing my sukkah, like packing it away. Thank God, just before the rain came, and a knife went straight into my wrist. Now, my wife's Magen David Adom. She came running. Blood was like pouring out. My son was sleeping on the couch, recovering from everything that's been going on, and he started freaking out. And but at that moment, my wife held it, and he was sleepy. He was like, "Whoa!" The blood flying, and she held it at the right place, and it thankfully she was the pressure caused it to no longer have an issue, no more blood, and I have a gratitude of attitude, and attitude of gratitude to my soulmate, and that's a big part of what we're talking about: the intimacy, getting into the right flow, that we don't get messed up by the current pressures of feeling like, wow, everything's so doom and gloom, because we have a bigger picture that there's people in our life, people we care about, and there's what to do. We spoke about being proactive. Relationships is not going to happen by us just like texting, as we mentioned last time, or recently over this time period, I checked out a Netflix whole thing. I've been like skipping through it to see if there's anything worthwhile on sex education. That whole, I don't know if you've seen it. Probably a waste of time, but it's good to be in touch with where people are at. It's very sad, and it sort of, in some ways, hints towards where we're at, like in all different ways. That there's such a low level of spirituality and relationships nowadays, and people are just seeking gratification, which is a very low level of intimacy. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this course, to try get us to go to a higher level. We talked about being proactive, doing something, making choices, making the right choices. And now we're going to talk about the end in mind. The end in mind. This is a very appropriate title for where we're at right now as a people. The end in mind is a very important principle from Stephen Covey, but it connects into the next level because it's the concept of mission statement, having goals, having visions, having dreams. When we last time met, we were in the Bnei Akiva, World Bnei Akiva program, and there they had a mission statement on the wall. I don't know if you know it off by heart, but it was something very positive about the Jewish people in the Holy Land, and that's important. That should be in your mind and in your heart if you're in this program, that it's something real for you, and that gives you structure and focus to build off everything else, that you have a foundation. Why are you in this program? You could say, oh, there's pretty women, or good schedule, good events, good staff, best staff, especially that Eddie Goldsmith guy, etc. You could say that, but the real point is that we have to have a mission statement, a goal, a bigger vision of what we're here for. And that would go for the Bnei Akiva and Mechina program, but that will also go for all of life, and especially in your home, and especially in your heart. you know what you're here for, your personally, your own personal mission statement, and and even more so as a community, because we have to really realize that the community right now needs us more than ever. I mean, we can't ignore the current situation when we're talking about intimacy. I was even looking up in halacha if you're allowed to even be intimate during time of war, which is in itself a question. The concept is that a time of war is a time of sorrow, a time of suffering, and intimacy should be done in a time of joy and love and connection. And to sort of ignore that and go off into your own intimate world, whereas there's a whole community in pain and suffering, it's not really right. So we can sort of all understand that intuitively, that this isn't a time so much for intimate focus. And that's one of the things that the world will never quite understand, especially nowadays when they're so focused on self gratification. And then you come to Eretz Israel and you live it in a different wavelength because now it's about a, the bigger picture, the end in mind, the goals, the dreams. What's this land about? What are we fighting and defending ourselves here for? What are we live putting up with this? As Rav Shlomo Katz said this morning, he said to every one of us at the table, he said, all of you could have lived much more comfortable, easy lives back in London or in America, in New York, or in Australia, or wherever it was that you came from, South Africa, South America, all the different guys in the program who will send the audio to, the idea that you had that opportunity to connect to that light, and that's a real thing. So everybody in their own way is able to experience this energy that we're discussing right now, because it's going to have to come up from within. You're going to have to actually sit down. Back in the day, it would be pen and paper, yeah. And right now, if you're at home or in your dorms or wherever you are, if it's not pen and paper, then you need to type it out. If you're not typing it out, then you need to do it on your phone. But write down, what is my mission statement? I know mine very clear. It's about United Souls, Unity Bookings. It's all about bringing unity and bringing souls together. That's what I'm engaging in right now. Using my platform to reach out to people to do kindness for just one chesed, so that they should get support and be able to then provide around $1 million worth of equipment for the reserve, for the all the different miluim that are going up, and there's hundreds of thousands of them, as we know, on the way to Gaza as we speak. And another one is to use my platform to be able to help the local community right now where I'm at in a frat. And that would be the ideal for me to be able to be a scene or a pipeline for kindness and gratitude, as we say. And that's the idea of having a mission statement that then emboldens your life. Now, for a relationship, yeah, if you see, say, on these programs, people just want casual experiences where they're just hooking up, like we spoke about, hooking up culture. So then they're not really going to have any goal or dream other than one goal, which is pleasure. Right now, with all the pain and all the turmoil in the world, I don't think people are in that mindset right now. I judge people favorably that they have gone through, especially in the program of Bnei Akiva, that you've had the opportunity to go through a Rosh Hashanah, 10 days of Tshuva, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Shemini Atzeres, and obviously a disrupted Simchas Torah. But nevertheless, you had that whole spiritual flow of this past month. And even though we would have liked to finish off this holy month in the positive, happy way that we've begun it, but it nevertheless right now is really, let's just say the last 3 weeks were like training for now. They were like getting us into the right mindset so that we could now be in our full game when we're being challenged right now in the current situation. So if anyone who, I don't know right now, anybody want to reach out at any point to discuss this more, how they can develop their mission statement, how they can develop their own personal mission, right now, currently in the current situation, obviously acts of kindness should be out there, caring about other people, asking how they're doing. Um, if you have unique talents, like to teach something. If you have a unique talent to paint, draw something. Right now, my kids have been drawing and painting. That's very important to use the creative sparks. Personally, I'm a musician, so I'm going to hopefully put some time in the next few days, try to play some music. go out there, give to the people in that need food, drink. There's a limit amount of food and drink right now in the supermarkets, so they're looking for people to go work in the supermarkets, Jewish people, because of the current lockdown in the Arab neighborhoods, because of everything going on, security issues. It's very sad, that we've able up until now to have Israeli Arabs and Palestinians working together in our community, and now because of the acts of Hamas, we no longer have that ability, and that's really, really sad that we lost that. And yeah, I just, whew, it's intense. So the full flow we're going to send to you as an audio, but the idea of intimacy and begin with end in mind is one of the most relevant things, because if you have a goal in your relationship, it will go into a whole nother level. You have to understand, because your soulmate or the other person you're connecting with also has hopes and dreams and visions. And it takes a conversation, it takes communication, it takes sharing it. It's not just about you writing it down now or typing it, or it's now about you communicating to another person and tuning into what is their value system, what is their goal system. One of the things I mentioned about Joe Rogan, I would love to go on his podcast just to give him clarity that a lot of his beautiful things that he does and success that he's has comes from the fact that he does have a vision, he does have a goal, and he has a soul. And humanity has a soul. I truly believe that the main reason of this war is because people are not connecting anymore as souls. They're connecting as, jealousy, a place of jealousy and greed and power and corruption. And if they're connecting from that low part of themselves, so then they're no longer connecting to another human being in a more elevated way. And therefore it's going to lead to all these kind of conflicts that escalate and escalate and escalate. And if people would once again be able to tune back in to, I'm going to do this, for example, this defensive situation that we're in right now, but I'm going to do it with values, with goals that are soulful. That means we're not just going to indiscriminately kill everybody or cruelly like they've been doing in the border over. We're going to actually do it with the right approach, with a high level of morality that's going to lead us to succeed, because we'll have God's blessing and we'll be able to put down all our enemies in the most effective way without needing to then have power and greed and jealousy and domination, all these negative traits. We'll have ability to get done what needs to be done in the cleanest, most successful way. And that's an example of applying the end in mind, the goals and dreams of the Jewish people and the state in a higher level, so we can achieve a higher level result in everything we're doing, and how we run the economy, how we defend ourselves, how we communicate. There's an opportunity for all of us to experience this situation in a better way. How we approach the fear. So we've been learning from Rav Shlomo Katz, for example. If you go to the Rambam, we have, thank God, with Moshe Maimonides, we have books of Torah guiding us how to deal with these situations. He says in the Mechemes Mitzvah, the idea of the concept of, in Hilkus, I think Malachim, the idea of the war situation, that we have to understand that that war situation is an opportunity for us to work on not fearing, not letting fear take over us, as Rav Shlomo was saying, to work on not sharing content that brings more fear, like all the crazy footage that's going on. Obviously, the world needs to know how barbaric and cruel these people have been to us. So we need to get that to them, to the world in general. But for our own children, for example, there's no reason for us to share with our children like this concept of fear, and it's not something which is going to help them in any way. We're not going to get like a better result from our children because they are more scared. That's not going to help anything. So our job is to realize that our support and our love for our family is what's going to give them the strength to be able to go through this time. And that could be even family outside of Israel, to try and explain what's been going on, to give them a bit of clarity, and this sharing of this larger picture, of having an end in mind, having a larger goal, giving a higher vision for our people, for our community, for our relationship. Everything would be experienced in a better way. So I this previous Shabbat, I had the pleasure to have a few of the guys here at my table, and we discussed some of my stories from my past, my journey to the Holy Land, and even in the Holy Land, and I wanted it to be enjoyable. I wanted to share parts of my life which I feel guys, young men can relate to, and including myself. Like I still have that side of myself, but also to realize there was a goal to it. The goal was when I went out to those parties with my old friends in the stories that I told was to connect with the souls that I was with then, was to be able to unite with them, to bond with them, so that now we're in this crazy situation. I'm still in touch with them and they're supportive. There's a relationship. I didn't just bail on them and become this fanatical religious guy in Israel that has nothing to do with any of my friends and family from back in the day. I made sure to be connecting, to always be available, to make time when they come to other Eretz Yisrael, to go out my way to see them in Tel Aviv or wherever they are, and to spend quality time and connecting time with them. And so now the excuse me, relationships are established. We're gonna have some water. Those relationships are established in a strong way so that I don't lose my connection to these beautiful souls. And then now when we're in a place where we need help, like literally, because as I explained before, we need to support all the miluim, all the people that are going up for service. We need to support the families that can't work. Like there's a lot of people who no longer have their jobs available right now currently, and we don't know how long that's going to go for. Plus, there's a certain lack of resources because of the whole country's on its head right now. So we need to provide for the soldiers as much as food and resources as we can. This is an opportunity for all those people now who've kept a relationship to now to give back and to show that they're in a safer position, even though there is crazy stuff going on in the rest of the world as well. Anti-Semitism is rearing its ugly head. But we have to realize that because we had a larger goal in these last however many years to maintain those relationships and do good PR and connect to people back to the Holy Land. So now they're able to reciprocate and give back. And this is an opportunity for us to show the unity of our people, in not just in Israel, but the whole world, that we're souls and we have a vision, we have a deeper goal to be kind, to be caring, to be compassionate. And this is the kind of energy we'd want to bring in our intimate relationships as well. And that once again, if it wasn't a time of war, I'd go much more into the intimacy focus. But it shouldn't be the focus right now. It's not, unfortunately, the ability, even though this is certain rules and guidelines that are applicable in intimate relationships, because in order to have that true soul connection, you have to be sharing the same values, the same soul mission. You can't just get into a relationship and think that it's just about the physical and emotional somewhat, because the problem is you won't have that larger vision. And this is something, once again, it will set you up for life. It will set you up for a great relationship with your spouse if you're meritorious to have that kind of relationship. Nowadays there's so much confusion about just basic stuff like what is a man, what is a woman. Being able to create a relationship of a man and woman relationship of a mashpia and a couple, as we mentioned last time, someone's giving and someone's receiving. This concept is being confused because of all these gender issues. A lot of external aspects of physicality have come in and made a priority of something that in the past was just clear. We just knew what the basics would. Everything just worked the way it should generally, and that was like an easier process of relation. Now we have to get through a lot of confusion, a lot of noise before we can get to the clarity of knowing what we are. I know I'm a man. Not only that, I'm a Jewish man. Not only that, I'm a father. I'm not only that, I'm living in the Holy Land. Not only that, and you start to clarify again and again all these principles. And if you're not a father yet, I want to be a father, and I want to have a family, and I want to build a relationship. I want to have goals. I want to be in the Holy Land because I believe in the mission of my holy people, and that we have a mission for this world, and we can only fully achieve it over here in Israel, and therefore I need to have defense because there's people against that. So the concept is, so what you'll say, but how does that work again with the beautiful energy of unity? Chaim, I already made a blessing. Because United Souls, I mentioned in my most recent class, the unification process of our people in the world is going to come through clarifications again and again. It's called Bururim in Hebrew, Bururim. clarity, clarify again and again, just like you write your mission statement. You're not going to get it right the first time. To clarify it again and again, clearer and clearer vision of who you are. So too, as a people, clearer, clear vision of who the Jewish people are. So too, your community in Efrat or in Migdal Oz or your community wherever you're chilling or doing your crew, what your crew's about, yeah, your workplace, everything needs to be clarified more and more. That's what I said these last 3 weeks. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot is a clarification process of getting clearer and clearer the truth of who you are, who's your soulmate, what you're here for, getting it clearer and clearer and clearer, and that end in mind focus, that ability to have goals. Now, the important point that Stephen Covey throws in that to help you with this is one day you're going to have people giving you a hesped. Yeah, he thinks literally the end in mind. What's the end in mind? After you passed away from this world after 120, right now, we just had sirens going. I was in the shower. I was getting showered, ready to get in a car and go drive my way to World Bnei Akiva in Mechina in Migdal Oz. No one had told me it was cancelled. No one had told me you guys went there. The last message I got from your crew that you're all going to be there, all ready to go. And only just before I was about to leave, the siren went off. I was just showering. My daughter was screaming, "Get out!" And I was like, "No, I'm in the shower." I finished off the shower, got dressed. I got the message, no one's around. Okay. So that's why we're doing it online. But the idea, so that was a mistake on whoever's responsibility was to tell me that they, yeah. Yeah, so that person might be in the army, so we'll forgive him, yeah, because he's doing his bigger duty. He's trying to save our people and everything else. So we'll let go of that. That didn't work out. But the point is that thank God it was just in time. The siren came. I was able to. I prayed mincha, and now I'm sitting here talking to you dudes, and you'll get the audio as I said. So you're going to get the opportunity to connect into the flow, no matter what, because the determination is there. One on my part and two, like I'm understanding that there's a mission for me in this world. So even if just say this is off the book, say they don't even pay me because I didn't walk into your institution and you guys weren't there. Okay, but I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the bigger point. I'm here for the fact that we're laying down certain guidelines. One, it will help you, it will help me too. Yeah, I didn't even go to a shul to daven mincha because I once I made that decision, I'm with you guys. The mincha I'm gonna either daven earlier or I'm gonna daven marv. So I start to work out my life in a bigger way with a bigger goal system. When that's one of the things that, for example, the Torah is a big help because it gives a lot of guidelines. But each person's going to have to do that alongside the Torah, with themselves, with their own personal skill set, with their own needs and energy, with that, and especially now in a relationship, you're going to have to really think because another person. I mean, we already said the other day that a woman is an amacher. We mentioned Parshas Hazinu. Now we're in Bereshis. You see, it's true they're a different nation, but right at the beginning of the Torah, we see after we've read the whole Torah, now at the beginning, with Bereshit right at the beginning, you see that Hava was taken from Adam. That Eve was taken from the ribs of Adam and Rishon, the first human being. And they're really Basa Echad. They're really from the same source, but there's a certain uniqueness that a woman has and nothing else in creation has that completes the man, the soul connection, that oneness. And we see in Bereshit, they become one flesh, they become one entity, and that manifests as children or souls that are being brought down through the connection done in the right time, in the right way, with the right person. And that's an understanding of relationship that is very deep and profound. And it's in the Torah, it's right at the beginning. It says, not a good for man to be alone. That's straight off right from the bat. The first mitzvah is puravu, connecting to your soulmate. Yeah. Now we could make a joke about puravu. We could say, I'm really into puravu. That's my mitzvah. Yeah. But the point, I'm just joking around. But the point is that, yeah, it's a mitzvah, and if it's done right, it's the holiest of mitzvahs, and it's one of the most powerful, profound experiences because you're a partner in creation. You're a procreator, and this is very deep. And to take it and just turn it into some TikTok Cardi B dance about, how wet whatever is, excuse my language, is taking something which is so holy and turning it into the lowest like form of physical expression of very low level pleasure instead of it being something which is soulful. And it's so far from its source and its goal and its cause. And then you have a world around you where there's people who forget the beauty of life. They forget the importance of life. They're no longer valuing life. They're no longer giving honor to women the way it should be. And I don't just mean in the secular world, the what happened with Hamas, the raping, and the way they disregarded the holiness and sanctity of the women that they captured to 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 disgrace them publicly and celebrate that in the most disgusting way, the way they were abusing children and old people. This is where they've lost all the values. There's no they say it in the name of God, but that's not God, as Rabbi Sachs so wisely wrote. He wrote a whole book on this, that everything they're doing is not in the name of God. They say it's in the name of God, but that's nothing to do with God, because God is godly. God affects us in our actions, in how we imitate or represent godly midot, godly character traits. We become a godly person, and therefore we would never a godly person would never do something so disgusting, so subhuman. And then their the whole religion of what they're disgracing their religion, they're disgracing their people, they're a disgrace to the Arab world, and they need to be destroyed by their not just by the Jewish people but by the Arab world should be disgusted with them. That they're not worthy unless they change, unless there's some form of repentance on their part. The way they're behaving and the way they're acting as a nation, or they call themselves a nation, not even a nation in historical sense. The way they're acting as a terrorist organization needs to be destroyed. We need to call a spade and be clear. Once again, clarification of ourselves. Once we know who we are, then we have a relationship with God, that we realize and we're clear with our soul. Then we can be clear that the people around us who are so anti-soul, they they're not just anti-Semitic; they're anti-soul. They're anti-soulism. They're against the soul of humanity, and therefore they themselves, as it says in the Svarim, evil will destroy itself. They will face destruction in a healthy way, in an effective way that's good for humanity. Because there's always going to be some sort of negative presence of evil in the world, and it needs to be taken care of. It can't be ignored. You don't have mercy on it. This is a time now to face that evil and deal with it. And this is a time each of us in our own self need to face the lack of values that we've taken on in our life. We've taken on wrong values. This is a wake up call for all of us as well. Because if we truly were being truly true to ourselves, to our vision, to our purpose, then there wouldn't be this power of evilness affecting us in such a strong way like it is right now. So all that's a wake up call to all of us. So I basically, to end off with a clear vision, all of us need to do the work. We all need to sit down and clarify, what am I here? What am I sitting in Israel for? Why am I in this place of danger? Yeah, one of the guys said on the way to our mill, but the soldier said back to him when he joined the army, this is such a shit hole. Why would you come and give up? So that's obviously a proof that these people do not, even in our own army, they don't even know why they're in the army. They don't even have a clarity of what they're doing here. That it's not just about having a nice penthouse and a nice Tesla and fancy clothes the way that social media and movies make out as if that's the life. It's about the soul, the values, the purpose, the relationships, the real content of a person, the human the human vision that we need to have as humanity, that we're not just here for just physical gratification, we're here for a bigger mission. And that once again, that influences everything you're doing. It lifts up. Once you get that goal system in place and you've worked hard on it, it lifts up, elevates every choice you make. So then you can be more proactive in an effective way. And then we'll get to the next concept. We have another 10 minutes. So when we get to the next concept of living effective in time management, how we apply our goals in dreams in an effective way. That's going to be the next session we're going to do. We'll catch up with this one with whoever wasn't there in person, either through the audio or through the in-person experience. But we're going to get to a place where we're going to allow ourselves to apply this. And what Stephen Covey calls this is personal. He calls this a private victory. This is something which is personal between you and God, between you and yourself, to really get clear, me, myself, and I, to really get clear, what am I here? And this is a private victory. You can celebrate this. Once you get it clear that you've made good choices, that's being proactive. You've got a goal, mission statement, goals, vision, dreams. You know what you're here. You've got clarity of thought. So now, if a situation comes up like we're in now with a war, we know that we're here for a purpose. We're not just here because we ended up here by accident, God forbid. It just happened chance. No, there's a purpose. I'm here for a purpose. And then I have clarity what to do about the difficult situation we're in. And that gives me energy, motivation. It gives me the right guidance. I know now how to apply all that good advice that I'm tuned into because I'm clear about what I'm about. And then third, now I'm going to slot it into my daily schedule. So you'll say, but right now the schedule's off. Yeah, we're in a time of war. Okay, so we're going to talk about that next time. Hopefully, the schedule won't be a time of war. But nevertheless, we can learn from this time of war that if we have good habits, if we've set ourselves up for victory, for success in our personal development, then we will, in a time of war, also have that kind of schedule. Yeah, that we won't be distracted from our goals. We won't be distracted from the relationship in front of us. We'll know that the priorities, what our priorities are family first and connection with the people around us and to do kindness. And those priorities will guide us even in this time of war once again. So then we won't feel lost. We won't feel helpless. We'll say, no, 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 I have what to be busy with, even now, when my main job is not functional anymore. I'm only doing side things and side projects, and even the supermarket's not functional, and the community is not functional. We were meant to have a children's event, and that got cancelled. And people are now like Corona days are back online doing these kind of Zoom things, But yeah, I have a habit. I'm ready for this. I've trained for this. My whole life has been about getting to this point. Like my son said, everything he's been doing for a year and a half in the army. Yeah, Baruch Yitzhak, he should have Shmira Eliona, Baruch Yitzhak Ben Masha, and all our soldiers should have heavenly protection. Everything he's done has been about this moment now. That he's up there in Lebanon border. He was meant to go to Gaza with his unit and Sderot, and there's been, unfortunately, many of his unit have been killed already, sorry to say. And it's a real disaster zone what's going on. And in Lebanon, they're throwing rockets, and he was meant to constantly be moving down, but each time they delay it because there's what to do up there by Hezbollah and the other problem areas. So he's been kept away from the action in Gaza. I kept thinking he was on his way to Gaza because that was the instructions, but it kept being delayed. And this is unfortunately some of the lack of clarity that goes on in the army is one of our weaknesses, I would say. But nevertheless, he is ready to go. He came on a video chat not so long ago. He's got the full equipment. Everything's ready. He's ready for war. And it's just a matter of when and where and what. But we pray for all those people. But that clarity of knowing that he's put in the time, a year and a half and more, a full dedication, and not just that, mentally, emotionally, physically, knows how to shoot, knows how to do all the different strategies and tactics. But it's not just that; it's the mindset. He's focused. That he has a mission there. He has a mission as a firm person, someone who has a munah and Hashem. He has a mission to pray and to connect to God and to realize that he's on a heavenly mission. And that's a whole nother level of being a soldier when you have that system of spirituality to guide you in that position. And that's one of the reasons they say that the dati parts of the army, the religious parts of the army, spiritually focused people are generally very high accomplished soldiers because they have their whole mind, the whole game is focused. Like if you go into, like Joe Rogan's had many different fighters on his show, on his podcast, Lahavdil, and you go there and you see who are the successful people, the ones who have very disciplined lives. Yeah. The ones who were able to box till they were in their 40s and win titles. How did they do that? Because they were focused in the most intense way on their mission, that they didn't have time to party, they didn't have time for hooking up, they didn't have time for as their end game was totally there. They knew what they were here for. The most successful athletes, the most successful UFC fighters, like the goats in that world are the greatest of all times, are people who knew what their purpose was and their mission was. So they didn't get stoned and pissed and drunk and distracted by everything and everything. They were able to focus on their game, and they were the ones who became the greatest of all time. Yeah, we could go through the list in every sport. Yeah, I've got one of them on my head, Michael Jordan. Yeah, Kobe Bryant. You go through every sport and list off the GOATs and look at their lifestyle. Look at how disciplined, how focused, how they knew what their goals were. And every day they were up first thing in the morning, ready to do their mission, ready to do what they were here for, to the highest and highest levels. And even when they moved from the sports, they brought it into their game, into everything else, into business and into their family. If they're really focused and they hopefully achieve success with their own with the next generation. And the idea that these people are the goats because they're the goats at life. They're the goats of knowing their mission, their goal, their end in mind. We mentioned before the idea of a hesped. We just touched on it. In the end, every one of us, and this will be the end point, everyone's going to have to face the concept of that we're not here forever. That there's an end game, and all of us are going to hopefully get the opportunity to achieve our goals and mission, and we're going to get to that point where we'll look at our mission statement and we'll look at all the different goals and rules and things we try to live up to. And we're going to say, tick, 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 tick. I did it all. Like a recently, coach in business development made me write out on a Google sheet all the things I want to accomplish this quarter. And I wrote it all out, and hopefully I can actually say I've ticked it all. Have I got the success financially that I'm also hoping for? That is still being decided, and hopefully the next few weeks we'll have some good news somehow or another. But otherwise than the money side of it, everything else I've done. I've done all the effort, all the ishtal, all the ticks are there. And after 120, you want to be able to say, not just the ticks, you want to be able to say the relationship was there. You're not going to worry about how many hours you put in the office or how many hours or how many girls you hooked up with or anything like that. The only thing you're going to care about after 120 was how was my relationship with the people I love. That's what you're going to think about. How much of a legacy did I leave there? My wife, my children, my spouse, my soulmate. How much of a legacy did I leave the next generation? How much of a better world is it thanks to my time in this world? What was it? What did I contribute? These are the kinds of questions you're going to think about. It's a much higher level game. And this is something you need to bring into your mindset, even as a young man, not in a pressured way or in an unhealthy way. Obviously, according to your age and your maturity and your abilities right now and your awareness and your knowledge and your understanding, everything according to your level. Yeah, remember, we're judging everyone favorably. Hashem's judging everyone favorably generally, except for those people on the border. They need to be wiped out. But everybody else, yeah, they're judging favorably. And the idea that we constantly have to be honest with ourselves. And I'll tell you one more point as we end off. This right eye was given, yeah, the right eye was given to look at the good in others. This left eye was to look at the not good in yourself, so you can become a better person. That's what Simcha Bunim Pashista said. You have to use all the different parts of yourself to evaluate yourself in the best way, but you also have to now think, what can I do with that? That's the kindness aspect. That's the proactive that we started the whole thing with. That's the beginning of all relationships begins with kindness. And the key to relationship is kindness, constantly seeking out the benefit of another person, giving to them. Even intimacy itself is kindness. To understand on a deepest level, it's kindness. It's an intense form of connection and pleasure that needs to be done in the right way, as we mentioned, in the right time. So I think that we've pretty much covered a lot of important points, and especially now that we're in a war situation, we have a little bit more hope, a little bit more clarity of who we are, what we're here for, and each of us needs to put that down and clarify. Me personally, I want unity. How can I make unity with the people down on the border who have tried to kill us? The answer is their destruction. That's their unity. They've already discounted themselves from being able to unify. Unfortunately, very sad that humanity, there's parts of it that does that, but that is part of a reality, and it's in the Torah. There's Amalek and there's nations that need to be destroyed. That and that's it. Okay, so we finished over here. I'm going to send out the audio, and I want to thank everyone who joined me on the Instagram. That I just put in a little bit. We're going to post a little bit of the audio over there. The full audio will go on the IG stories. Remember, there's a lot of amazing courses that we're doing right now. Causes, excuse me. The idea of just one chesed, or you can DM me directly, and I'll be able to get to the local community here. This is real life. This is real stuff. This is a real war. This is a time for our values, our goals, our dreams to now manifest in kindness, in goodness, in caring for each other. And with that ability, that hope, that ray of hope that comes out from the soul of humanity, we'll be able to restore peace in the land, and we'll be able to have our borders safe again, not just here in America as well, in the whole world. Everyone needs to have those borders, those those lack of borders is what's causing so much grief, because we need to have the right boundaries. We need to make sure that we're clear of what we're able to do and what we're not able to do. And big blessing to all the Bnei Akiva guys who are sending us out audio direct to them. The intimacy series will continue, hopefully, as once the war quietens, we can focus again more exclusively on intimacy, and we'll get into some more stories and fun times as well. And it's just this, big prayer that everything we're doing right now is for the safety of the soldiers. All that should be a merit, and the safety of our people. We just had sirens going off less than an hour ago, right here, and missiles landed in Beitar, not far from here, and have caused damage and maybe even casualties. And this is we're going through real stuff here. This is life or death. So everyone needs to step up. Everyone needs to remember we're here for a purpose and live that purpose. Once again, reach out how you can do something about it. Let's make this world a better place, and let's get rid of this negative energy that's been in the last few days and turn it around into only good news. Amen. Thank you, Sharon. Much love. Appreciate it so much.